Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I hope everybody can hear me okay. If you can't hear me, will you let me know? Because ultimately, I can't see whether or not you can hear me till we get over here. Hold up a minute. There we go. Can everybody hear me okay? Oh, you can. Wait a minute. Yes. Hiya, Denise. So you can all hear me. Great. That's absolutely fantastic. That's what I like to hear. I hope you're well, Denise. Thank you very much for joining me. I've come on a little bit earlier because ultimately I wasn't quite sure whether or not you can hear me, but you obviously can. So I'm very excited. Glenn, you're very quiet. Okay, hold on, Glenn. Let's see if we can lift it up a bit. Let's try that. Tell me what that sounds like. Is that any better? How's that? Hi to Edwin. How you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you got some questions. Can you hear me better now? I've turned it up a little bit. Let me know. I can't hear you. It's very quiet. Is it still really quiet? Right, let's hold up. Let's see if we can move it up a little bit more. How's that for you, folks? Is that a little better? How you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you got some questions. Can you hear me better now? I'm just trying to get it right. Let me know how that sounds. Really quiet. Is that shouting? Really quiet. Hold up, man. Let's move the mic over a bit. Very quiet. Makes any difference. Really quiet, right? Let's hold up. Let's see if we can turn it up a little bit more. How's that for you? Try that a little better. How you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you got some questions. Can you hear me better now? I'm just trying to get it right. Let me know how that sounds. Really quiet. Is that shouting? Hi, Danielle. Best I'm here. Hi, Rachel. Nice to have you here. Tell me how that is, folks. Is it any better? So I might have to back with it a little. But let me know this is why I thought come on. Yes, lots better. Great stuff. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. And I hope you've got some questions. Can I ask you the best one here? Hi, Rachel. Nice to have you here. Tell me how that is, folks. Is it any better? Now there is an echo. Now there's an echo. Hold on a minute. Let's see if we can do something with that, my lord. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. And I hope you've got some questions. How's that for you? There's an echo now. Is that better? Now there's an echo. Let me see back here. Oh yes, I hear it. Hold up a minute. Wait a minute. I can hear it. How's that for you? There's an echo now. Is that better? Tell me what that's like. I'm a bit of bother with the mic. Is that better? Can you hear me? Double sound. Double sound, I know. Let's have a listen. Is that any better? Let's have a listen. Let me just turn up at my end. How's that? How's that? Very quiet now. Better? No sound, says everybody. How's that? It should be better now. How's that? Yes! Very quiet now. Better? No sound, says everybody. How's that? It should be better now. Smashing. Okay, I can turn out right. Let me tell me if it changed. Can you still hear me now? Very carry on. Can you still hear me? Can you hear? Smashing. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Danielle Happy Medium. We're just getting the sound and that sorted. This evening is a live Q&A. It's just a slight out of shoot, yes. Right, okay. Let's have a listen. Let's see if we can have a look. Let's have a listen. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Danielle Medium. We've just
Still double sound.
This is a live Q&A. It's just a slight speech. Yes. Right. Okay. Let's have a listen. Let's see if we can have a
Sounds okay to me.
Yes, go. Okay. So for all those who are new to me, I am Danielle. For all those who are not new to me, you should know me, better know me as Danielle. This evening, we're going to talk about mediumship. We're going to talk about everything and anything that may be of benefit to you. So if you have any questions you want to put to me, I'll sort of do the little intro with connections to, to all of the, we'll do a little intro in connections to the stuff that I have available. So let's talk a little bit quickly about my teaching. So for anybody who hasn't seen the video in the YouTube channel, there is a connection to Zoom classes that are going on Pacific time and Eastern time. Pacific time has about 6 left on it. Eastern time has 4. The UK is sold out, but we do have a waiting list in place. I also have Google. Also, I have a connection to the Gold Coast. I'm out in Australia. I have 8 spaces left for a mentorship program that is going on out in the Gold Coast in the month of June this year. Also have some Canadian work. So if you're interested in getting involved, there is going to be an email account or an email address in the description box for you to get in touch and talk to me about these things. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I hope the sound is okay. Can I ask that you share this video around? That would be really, really helpful to me. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have in connections to your mediumship, anything that you would like to discuss with me in regards to your mediumship, or is there anything that you don't quite understand? If I have the knowledge, I'll give you it. I have to say here and now, I don't know everything. If I knew everything, there'd be no need for other people. So what I have to say is that I don't know everything, but I will certainly do my very, very best. If I don't have the answer, I'll tell you I don't have the answer, because I'm a bit like that. So like I say, thank you very much. So let me just see who's joined us. So hi to Denise and Donna and Rachel and Samantha's here, evening. Life Beyond's here as well. Deb's here as well, Rachel. Edward's here. Knock for yes and 2 for no. Very funny, Edward. I love it. I love it. I love it. You can hear me now. Great stuff. And Pat's here as well. So like I say, if you want to ask me anything, by all means do. Thank you very much for sharing. I'm grateful to you as well. If there's not a topic you want to talk about, I will start one away, and then you can sort of filter in thereafter. So there is a delay on the chat. Okay, we just stick with it. I think it should sort of even itself out, and I think it should get better. So there was a question that was given to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was going to do a live Q&A in regards to it, which was on the intelligence of the spirit world. And lots of people ask me about the intelligence of the spirit world and what this actually means. So let me sort of help you a little bit with this. Let me sort of give you a bit of understanding. If we want to discuss it more, then we can certainly take a look at it and discuss it further. So the intelligence of the spirit world it's broken down into quite a few segments. It's not just dedicated to one area. So we have the intelligence of the loved ones, in which that are yours, that come from the spirit world, know what to talk about when they're working with the medium's mind. Then we have the intelligence of the spirits and them knowing who's in the room and who they need to be with, and they know whereabouts in the room they need to be. Then we have the intelligence of that the loved ones only go to certain mediums because them mediums are there and able to work, and that information can get over. Also, there's the intelligence of the spirit knowing stuff that we don't know within the family unit or within when we're given evidence. So the intelligence is proven in many different ways. Intelligence isn't just one way proven. Also, we have to talk about the intelligence of the loved ones that come through. They only come through to us in the way in which they were here to the earth. They don't come through in other ways. Few people have asked me questions, and I am going to do a video on this. Why is it that my loved ones come through at a younger age, or they come through at a different age in the way that they pass? My answer to that will always be the spirit world will always come through in the way in which that you know them, in order so that they can get that information over. They're not going to come through in any other way, because otherwise it's going to make a little bit sort of harder for you to understand and take that information, which is really where the intelligence comes in. So then we would talk about, lots of people say it as well, I lost children in another way, so maybe through a miscarriage or in another way, and then they will come through in that way. Or they won't come through in living babies or living people, because you won't understand that. So that's where this intelligence will always come in there. They are very intelligent in the spirit world. Like I say, they only come through in the way in which that they were here to the earth, in order so that you would understand them. Do they progress and grow within the spiritual realms? Oh yes, they do, but they don't grow as in physically, because they don't have the physical body. But what they do grow is in intelligence and knowledge. What we have to understand as well with the intelligence of the spirit world, each soul and every energy that is up there or is entitled to grow at its own time. So some may not choose to grow, some may choose to stay as they are, some may choose to progress and move forward and do extensive knowledge and understanding within the spirit world. And again, this is learning. When I talk about knowledge and I talk about experiences, it's a soul growth, it's an energy growth, it's a bigger understanding of the consciousness, a bigger understanding of the parameters and the different sort of understandings in the support, basically evolution. So evolution is a connection to how we treat each other, the way in which that we treat each other. Can it be done in a more, seeing it from another viewpoint, seeing it from the bigger picture? So what these souls are doing up there, seeing things from a different perspective, learning to understand more in that capacity, so that they can see everything from a bigger viewpoint. Because here to the earth, we all have our own viewpoints because of emotions. And this is another question I was asking when we're doing a video on, do spirits have emotions? A short answer to that question is no, because emotions are actually connected to the human person down here. The emotions don't actually go over with the spirit, with the actual energy itself. They do take with them the memories, and they do take forward the knowledge and stuff in which that they had, but they don't actually have an emotion. They will impress the emotions they had when they were here to the earth, but do they actually have emotions in the spirit world? No, because the spirit world don't see it from one side nor the other. The spirit world see it from a bigger collective point. Some energies get that more than others, some energies do not. It just depends on how much progression, how much intelligence, how much they wanted to choose to move and grow will ultimately determine that intelligence of that particular individual. So Rachel's asking me, if a loved one visits the earth plane, can they normally have a smell we connect with the loved one? So great question, Rachel, and one I'm asked many times and for many different reasons. And I think for the general public and for us as mediums, you know, it's important to understand that, you know, the spirit will come through. And again, this is where intelligence would come in. So spirit is going to use the things that are most important to you. So I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. So my nana's in the spirit world. My nana always used Elnet hairspray. Now every time I get a smell of Elnet hairspray, nobody's been spraying hairspray, you know, I haven't been anywhere to really sort of have that around and about us. That's an indication for me that my nana is either coming forward or my nana's already here. And straight away that really clarifies what I've just been saying there. So the spirit world use the intelligence of the things that would be relevant to you in order to get that information over, or just to let you know that they are there. So in answer short to your question, Rachel, can they use smells in order to connect to you? Yes, of course they can. Are they going to use stuff that is relevant to you? Yes, they are going to use stuff that's relevant to you. They're not going to use something that's of no use to you, because you're not going to recognize it, so therefore you're not going to take that on board. So it's really important to understand that the spirit world, and using the intelligence and using the things that you would understand, will help them to get over that energy, and that they are there with you and that they're taking care of you. You have to remember here as well, in order to be able to pick up the spirit world, you've got to have shifted the mind. So when people say to me, I've had this smell, or I've got somebody touching me, or I've done this, or I've done that, you've got to have shifted your mind, again using the power of the thought. So what tends to happen is through the power of the thought, we will have moved the mind. Now normally we've been thinking about the spirit world, or been thinking about all of once. It really is that simple, and people don't realize how easy it is to move the mind and become aware of the spirit world, because it's only through the power of the thought, and just by thinking about the spirit world, thinking about the loved ones, thinking about old memories, all these types of things has the ability to take you to the spirit world and connect you to that loved one. And that loved one will then respond with the smell, the feeling, the touch, the scent, the cigarette smoke, you know, all them types of things. So it is this easy, it's that simple to be able to connect to the spirit world using this power of the thought. And many people come to me and go, Danielle, I think I've got people in my house. Danielle, I think I've got this going on. It's not that you've got people in your house, it's the fact that you've got your loved ones with you, and what you've done is shifted your mind through the power of the thought and have actually connected to them, and you don't realise you've actually done it. And people think that, you know, people like me have some sort of ability or some sort of gift or some sort of this, that and the other. We all have this ability, and I do believe that each and every one of us has the capability to invoke this, to make this stronger. And I've said it before, and when people talk to me about the clair range and they say, well, I want this clair range to get stronger, I want this clair range to get better, or I want this, or I want that. What you have to understand is that clair range gets better the more you develop it, which is really an ability to be able to connect to the spirit world. So all you're doing is constantly attuning these clair ranges, constantly attuning this extrasensory system in order to be able to work with the spirit world that little bit more closely there. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Rachel. So any questions from you, lovely lot, here on the stream? Anything that you really want to talk to me about? Anything that you would like to ask me about the spirit world? If I can use the board, I'll certainly use the board, because I know lots of you like to see me use the board and talk about the board. And I hope the volume's okay there. Excuse me, because I don't want the volume to be a little bit dodgy and a little bit sort of you know, these types of things, because I know we had some problems in the beginning there, so I hope it's all working out. Hi to everybody who's just joined. So Vicky's just joined and Laura's just joined as well. So nice to have you here with me, ladies. And I hope you've got some questions there for us. What else can I talk about while we wait for a few years to have some questions? So let me talk a little bit about my book. So for those who maybe don't have my book, I have a book out. Hiya Blue Feather, I hope you're well. Hope you have some questions for me there, Blue Feather. Excuse me. I have a book out called The Natural Medium. I do believe we're all natural medium. It is perfect. It makes me think about it more. I do believe I'll just finish this off, then I'll come back right back to you, Rachel. So my book's The Natural Medium. You can get it on Amazon. I do believe everybody is a natural medium in some capacity. So certainly check that one out. If you haven't already bought that book, the link is in the description box below. That is perfect. It makes me think more about it. It will, Rachel, and what we have to become aware of is the more that you think about it, and the more you consciously you become aware, the more that you will be able to connect with the spirit world, the more you'll be able to join with the spirit world, the more you'll be able to interact with them. So I wish you the best of luck there with that one. Andrew, hiya Edward, I hope you're well, my darling. If I try and check a name, I sometimes get a half a dozen names back from the spirit world at once. Wondering what goes on there, Danielle, please. Right. So for me personally, I don't ask for names when I'm doing mediumship. It's a big thing in the industry, names, getting names, and one that is very much on the, I would say, the top parameters of evidence when it comes to mediums wanting to prove survival. My advice to you would be, Edward, if you aren't getting it, don't push for it. Allow the spirit world to talk about the things that they want to talk about, because sometimes us asking for loads and loads of names, or us asking for this, asking for that, can actually stop the spirit world from talking about the things that they want to talk about. But as a medium, and I appreciate where you're coming from, you have to ask yourself, and please don't take offence here, I'm certainly not trying to be awful or anything, you got to check where your ego is sitting in that capacity, because normally it's the ego that's looking for the names, because normally the spirit world, if they're going to give you the name, they will give you it, or if they want to express that, they will normally give it. If you're getting a dozen names back, what you have to ask yourself is in over the time and over the parameters of doing your mediumship, where them names belong. Do they belong within the spiritual realms, or do they belong here? Also, a little hint and tip I could give you, for me, if I get a name in, I always send it back. And I know you'll probably look at me a little bit weird and go, well, why do you do that, Danielle? I send a name back because sometimes the conscious mind can get involved. Sometimes the conscious mind, because it wants the names, and because it's such evidence, and it's such a big sort of parameter, punching for that big name. Yeah, I've got that, you know what I mean? Look at me, look at me. I'm not saying that you're doing that, Edward. I'm certainly not saying that at all. But just be very monitoring of that. If you're going to give the names and you're going to ask for them, send it back. If it comes back, send it back again. If it comes back, then give it. That would be my answer in connections to names. And then that could help you in that capacity. Me, Edward, if it was me, I wouldn't even go searching for them, because normally if the spirit world's going to give you them, they'll make you aware of that. And as long as your mind's open enough and you're allowing that, it'll come in there for you. But you know, each to their own. I know a lot of mediums like names and things, so if you want to go down that route, careful you're not doing that checklist, you know, names, addresses, dates of birth, this type of thing. If you're not, then make sure that you give, when the names come in, send them all back, and if some of them come back, send them back again, and then whatever comes back after that, then give them names. But make sure where they are and where they're not. Sometimes when I'm working for names and I get a name, like I say, psychically it'll feel very far away. If it's mediumistic, it's normally right within my mind. Normally as well, I'll tend to feel which side, so I tend to feel, oh well, it's on that side or this side. Again, that's a graduation of your mediumship and your techniques and your tool bag, which I've just put a video up on that, so maybe check that one out. Your tool bag's yours. It's where you will be able to understand that particular names and where it places for you. Where I think mine are may be very different to you, so it's something that you may have to have a little chat with your spirit team about. They should be able to help bring in some hints and tips or some tool bags or kits and things there to help you get that within your mind and it stay there. It may change over time. Keep an eye on that one. Alright, Edward, so hope that answers your question. Blue Feather's asking me, I'm in circle when I spirit world. A question, how do I stop my conscious mind jumping in and answering? Right, Blue Feather, the biggest thing I'm going to say to you is, don't ask a lot of questions. And I know you're going to look at me a little weird here and you're going to say, but Danielle, I've been taught to ask questions. I've been taught, you know, in order to get me information, I've got to ask this, I've got to ask that. My advice to you is don't ask any questions. First thing to do is when you first take your mind to the spirit world and you're there, what you need to be doing is saying, you know, I'm going to the spirit world, I'm going to look for a loved one, right? And as soon as you've got that loved one, and the first thing you want to say to the missus is, right, what do you want to talk about? Or, you know, I've got my mind's here, do as you please. And allow them to do that. The biggest thing that mediums have got to learn to do, let me give you an understanding of this one, Blue Fella. And I have done a video already on this, on the story. So, here's your mind. And what happens is when the medium, you take your mind to the spirit world. So you're going to go to the spirit world. There you are in the spirit world with your mind. Here's all the spirit loved ones. What you have to do is then just put your mind in the spirit world and say to them, what do you want to talk about? And then allow them to flood your mind with whatever it is that they feel is important. What your job is then is to start talking about it. So you get a picture of a lady, right? The lady, and then after that you need to be thinking, then you start to think, right, there's a lady. By the time you pick that lady up, they're already starting to feed a bit more in. So then they're picking up a house. And what all you've got to do is keep building. You've got to speak it. This is where mediums gone wrong. If they start asking the communicator loads of questions, what they should be doing is building the communication. So they go back to the spirit world and go, right, what more, what more, what more? Instead of going, right, I've got the lady. Your job is just to speak it, and then they'll start and deliver more and more. So as you give the lady, they then give you the house, then they give you the door number 27, then they give you Jack, the name of Jack. I know Jack's a very common name, so then this is when you would go back to the spirit world and say, right, who's Jack? They would then flood back, me brother who lived with me. Then you filter on. Loads and loads of mediums, this is where every medium goes wrong, Blue Feather. They ask loads of questions to the spirit world that just keep going back instead of just building the communication, allowing the communication to drop and drop. And only when you get like maybe a name or you get a no, then you should be going back to the spirit world and asking for additional information. So I hope that answers your question a little bit, and I hope you understand that a little bit more, because that's what tends to happen. When you start asking the spirit world loads, where you start going back and back and back and back and back all the time, your conscious mind starts to get involved. So the best thing to do is don't allow the conscious mind to get involved. Best thing to do is just speak your information as it comes. Just speak it. Unless you get a no, or the likes of Jack, or something like that, where it's like, it could be a little bit sort of glitchy, that's the only time you should be going back to the spirit world and asking for any more. So I hope I answered the question a little bit more. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. Vicky saying the reading I had with Kelsey was really good. She brought up some things that nobody else would know. One of my students, I highly recommend my students. They are some of the better than me. They've got to be better than me. And, you know, I thoroughly enjoy training them. Kelsey's one of my better ones. She's doing ever so well. Terry saying, hello, lovely. Hi, Terry, darling. Blue Feather saying, when sitting in the power, I feel when the spirit world comes in, but I don't feel anything else. Or they're working with men. You don't feel anything else. Right. So I've got to ask you this question. What do you expect to be feeling? When you're sitting in the power, you're not supposed to be really doing anything. You're just supposed to be sitting there. So really you're not doing anything else. All they are doing when you're sitting in the power is just sitting with the spirit world. So you're just sort of sitting, becoming accustomed to that energy, recognizing that it's different from your energy to their energy. You're not really supposed to be doing anything unless you've gone to the spirit world with a particular question or topic that you would like to discuss with them. And this is where your intention comes in. So some people just go to the spirit world to sit. And this is what you've got to get. You've got to get clued up. When you're sitting in the power, you've got to get clued up. My flash bottle as always, folks. I love this stuff. You've got to be clued up. So you can go to the spirit world for a few different things. A bit like meditation, there's a few different things. And I've talked about this I think before, but I'll talk about it again. So let this just dry, because it takes a little couple of minutes to dry. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. So we're sitting in the power. You've got a couple of reasons for going. One for development, one for awareness, one for relaxation, relax. The other one's for focus. These are just some of them that you can go to the spirit world and sit in the power. Now most people sit in the power and just sit there, which is relaxing, which is what you're talking about, Blue Feather. You're just sitting with the spirit world. Sorry, I'm a little further forward there, that's focus. You're just sitting, you're becoming aware of the energy, you're just sort of, you know, checking all that in, you're just sort of sitting there, you're not chilling, having five. But then you can either go to the spirit world and use it for one of these. So focus, awareness, development. So before you sit in the power, you need your intention. What you going to the spirit world for? Is there a topic you want to talk about? So do you want to talk about how to be a better medium? Yes, I know. You can actually ask them these questions and they will answer you. Or are you going to the spirit world to develop your mediumship? So you're going to develop your mediumship through maybe playing games with the spirit world, becoming aware of your guides, more helpers, working with different energies. Awareness, again, that would be an energy one, but it might be awareness of developing the clairs. Focusing is again a one of developing the clairs. So you've got a range of ideas here, but you've got to be intention based of what it is you're going to the spirit world for. It's not good going to the spirit world just to sit and relax, because you're not going to learn now. You've got to be intentionally based of what it is you're taking your mind to the spirit world for, and get into the habit of going with a particular question or going with a particular intent of what it is that you want to learn from the spirit world. This is where a lot of people are doing sitting in the power or meditations, and they're sitting there and they're just relaxing. That's all they're doing. They're doing nothing else, and then they're going, well, I'm not learning anything, nothing's happening. That's because you haven't put the intention in, or you're not going in with one of these sort of ideas of development, awareness, or focusing in order to be able, or you could be going to connect to the guide, to talk to the guide. You have to have some topic energy or some kind of intention of what it is that you want to go to the spirit world for and what it is that you want to learn. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you. Let's have a look. Blue Feather's asking me again, do I think yoga helps with meditation? Right, you want to tell a laugh? So, I did do yoga for years. I think about, how long has it been? 2 years, 4 years, 4.5 years ago, 2 years, 3 years. Right, about 4.5 years ago, I packed in smoking. I packed in for 2.5 years. And then started back up about a year, 2 years coming up this September. And I like to keep in shape. I gotta be honest with you. But I particularly like yoga, Pilates. I like anything that's gonna sort of really get me in shape, if that makes sense. Without, so I can at least still eat the things I want to eat, because I really don't want to stop eating things, right? I like food. I gotta be honest with you. But for me personally, now I can't say this for everybody, and lots of people say, well, mediumship, you should be cleansing your diet, vegetarian, vegan, and I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm not. It's just my viewpoint. You can go down that route. I don't think it'll do you any harm in any capacity. Do I think it'll do anything for your mediumship? On a personal level, probably not. No. But, there is some people who think a clean mind, clean body, all them things, and I don't dispute that in any way, shape or form. But for me personally, yoga is really good for breathing. It's excellent for your breathing technique. It's really good for helping you to quiet the mind. It really does help you to focus. It's really good for bringing your awareness and intention as well. For me personally, and this is only from a personal viewpoint, Blue Feather, yes, I like yoga for mediumship, but I've gone back to it. I haven't done yoga for years. Well, what a laugh! You've got any idea? I was rolling around the floor and all sorts. I had one leg up here, I had one leg over there. But have I felt a loosening of the body? Yes. Is my mind a lot more focused? Yes. Is it more disciplined? Yes. So is it beneficial for me? Yes. But do I recommend it as part of your mediumship? If it floats your boat, if it's something you want to do. If it's not something you want to do, didn't do it. You know what I mean? It's got to be entirely your choice, because I can't be for one nor the other, so I have to say it's got to be a personal choice there. But for me personally, yes, I enjoy yoga, and I do it not only for the mediumship, but I do it to keep in shape as well. It's an excellent core release. It's just like pulled all my core back up. Great for pelvic floors, all them types of things. So for all them mums and that out there, it's excellent. So I hope it helps you out there a little bit. Vicky's saying, oh yeah, is that right? Yeah, I'm with you, Vicky. Yes, I wasn't quite sure what you were about there, but yes, I look forward to it, my darling. I've seen an Indian man in my mind's eye, just his face. Is that a guy? Now, I'm going to tell you a little story here. So, I don't believe that you should tell anybody who their guides are. I'll tell you why. And there was an incident a couple of months ago with one of my students. I'm not going to go into a great deal of information with that, but somebody told her something about a guide. She took that as being gospel, and it has ended up where she's been with this person that she never picked, and ultimately that relationship hasn't been built because that guide wasn't hers or wasn't for her particular mind. It was for somebody else actually in the group. So my advice to anybody who is searching for guides, find these guides of your own accord. I have a section in the YouTube channel playlist, Finding Guides. It's for clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyancy, claircognilian. It's one of my top guide sections. In fact, it's one of my biggest playlists in the whole entire YouTube channel. Check it out. I would not like to say whether that's your guide or not. My answer to you would be, Deb, if it feels right, it is right, go with it. Hi to everybody who's just saying hi. Hi to Marcus. Blue Feather saying, I get a few pieces of information, then I get stuck. How do I keep the flow? Right. So what's happened is you getting involved. So you get a few bits of information. Now, there's a couple of reasons the flow could stop. So we'll look at this one and all. I hope the light's not too bad. I hope you can see. Can you see on the board? Can you all see? Do I need to bring the camera forward? I think you can see. Let me let that dry. I'm blind on it and everything, and I think that's kind of work, like some dummy. Anyway, so there's a couple of reasons for the flow not working. The board's a bit wet, so my apologies on that. Just wait for the board. One, you've got to check if you've got the right person. I tend to find, if I'm not in the right place with the right particular individual, right, it'll dry up. The information will dry up, and it'll go sort of all to a load of no's, or it'll just sort of be, it'll just not flow, if that makes sense. So if you will understand, you'll get some communications blue feather that you'll do that'll just flow, 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 la 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 la. It'll be out to bother, right? That's normally you're in the right place with the right communicator, you know, and everything's spot on. So you have to check to make sure you've got the right person, so the right loved one for the right loved one. That's a top priority, because I tend to find a lot of times that when for me, it'll just not flow, it'll just not sit right, it'll just not be quite correct. Second one is that the conscious mind, or you getting involved, which fear, it's got to be one of the top ones. Maybe you're getting a couple of no's, which will again also cause that problem, and that will then kick the mind out. Best way to reconnect with is the breath. So if your mind started to kick in, you've only getting a couple of bits of information, you're maybe getting a no or two, best thing, and your mind starting to kick in, it's starting to dilute, it's interfering. Best thing to do, a couple of deep breaths, take your mind back to the spirit world, stay with the spirit world. Could also be that you haven't, the bottom one could also be you haven't built enough power, which is sitting in the power with the topics we've just discussed. Or what could be, and you've got to take this one into consideration, we're bringing in a new clear range. Yes, folks, it happens. And this one isn't talked about an awful lot. We are going to keep, especially spirit trained, always spirit trained, whether you're trained by the SNU, whether you're trained by anybody in the biz, you are going to get, your mediumship will not be where it started. In the spirit world, will start to change your clairs. You have a scale range, ranging from clairvoyancy, clairaudience, and we will all work with these in some capacity. Clairsentience, claircognilian, excuse my handwriting, clairaugustus, clairempathy, right? Here's a scale running up and down. It's a good medium. You should be able to move up and down this scale, no bother. Or at least be able to work the majority of these clairs. You'll always have one primary, 2 or 3 lower. You should be able to move between this scale. Could be, if your flow's not working, that you're using a different clair. You're having to move over onto a different clair to the clair that you're predominantly using. So you might always be using clairvoyancy, but this spirit doesn't want to use clairvoyancy, it wants to use clairaudience. But you haven't quite developed that clair there. So you're going to find that it's going to be a bit glitchy, or the flow's not going to be quite there. You've got to remember, in development, this is what the spirit world's doing. The spirit world's constantly developing you through every communication that you do. So get into the habit of not getting stuck on just using one particular clair. Make sure the mind's as free as possible. There could be an alteration of your mediumship. You've got to accept and understand that you're not going to keep working the same way. Lots of different spirits work lots in different ways. Lots of spirits are going to come in from a different perspective. Not all of them's going to come in from the front. Not all of them's going to come in from the back. Some's going to come in from the sides. Got to get in the habit of realising which way the spirit world's working with your mind. They're just some of the tips I could give you, Blue Feather. So I hope that makes sense there for you, my darling. Marcus is saying hi Marcus. Edward saying, got that, great, thank you, no problem. Kay saying it won't load. Edward says, totally makes sense. Champion. Just about ask about the yoga. Let's say evening, everybody who's just saying evening. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Let's have a look. Mark's asking me. Oh, sorry, Mark, I nearly knocked you off there, my love. So, Mark saying, can you please explain a bit more on the sandpaper feel on hands and feet before you mention one of your videos? Right. Hold up a minute, folkies. So, for me, it's a psychic link, Mark. It's a connection to working psychically. And I have to say this again, I'll say it again. I'm sure there's lots of other people out there that'll disagree with the things I say, but, you know, I can only speak from my viewpoint. Every medium in some capacity is working with the psychic ability. No matter how much you want to get away from that, you can't. You've got to be working with the psychic ability. It's important. You've got to understand that. Now, for me personally, the sandpaper feeling is a sign for me that I've either come out of the spirit world and I'm starting to jump onto a psychic link. And for me personally, that's something that I've worked over the years, Mark. It's something that I have worked with using the spirit world in order to be able to make sure of which way I've moved my mind and which way I haven't moved my mind. It is my mind starting to filter out of the spirit world and come back to the earth world. So for me personally, that's just my signal for working psychically. And when I need to become aware that I need to shove my mind back into the spirit world because it's been too much, I'm starting to move it too far back over. Again, that's only my personal perspective. It's not everybody's perspective. Not everybody's going to understand that. Again, this has got to be something of a development. People say to me, how do you know if you work psychically or whether you work mediumistically? This is again a connection to you and only you. Sorry about that. You will know them things given time. That's what development does. Development will get you them things. Development will get you an opportunity to be able to understand more about when you work psychically and when you work mystically. It doesn't happen overnight, this. You don't get yourselves too caught up in that. Give yourselves the opportunity. Most mediums, when they're first starting out, are working quite psychically. You can't get away from that because they're developing the sensory system. The sensory system's going off. They haven't got enough understanding of the mind, nor have they got enough understanding of the spirit world or the mechanics of the spirit world. So it's really, really important that you cut yourself a little bit of slack here. You won't get all this all in one go. You won't. If you get it all in one go, well, I tell you what it is, hats off to you. I commend you. But for the majority of us, you won't get this, and only through development, and only through working with the spirit world, and constantly developing and sitting in the power, and maybe going to workshops, or going to your development classes or your open circles or whatever. Will you become more and more aware of these things? But in essence, to your question, Mark, that's the key for me. That I need to take my mind back to the spirit world, and my mind needs to stay there because I've moved it too far over. It's just a mechanic that I have in my darling. Basically, it's a one for me understanding my mechanics of the spirit world. Basically, my toolkit, my tool bag. And like I said before, and I say it again, all us mediums have our own tool bags, all of us, because it is basically it's your bag full of goodies to help you with situations like that. Have I moved my mind too far back over? Do I need to go back to the spirit world? When you work in them nodes. And again, when you work in the nodes, it's your interpretation of working them nodes. Again, when the flow's not working, again, I give these here, but again, there could be your stamp on them. These are just hints and tips. Everybody, it doesn't matter what training you have. I'm not saying any training's bad. All training will teach you something. It will teach you either what you like or what you don't like. And all teaching is beneficial in some capacity. And what you have to understand with teaching is that it's any teacher, it's there, including my own. It's my interpretation of the spirit world. It's my knowledge that's been given to me from my team that works well with my mind. Lots of minds will get me. Lots of minds will not get me, and they'll go elsewhere and look for other knowledge. My best advice to you is to learn to get your own knowledge. Do you know why it's best to have your own knowledge and your own relationship with the spirit world? Because once you have that, it becomes yours. It becomes your tool bag, your kit bag. It becomes your... I've been taught lots of different techniques from the spirit world. I've seen some different techniques out there in the industry. I always go back to my own. Why? Because they suit my mind best. Anything that anybody else puts into your mind will always be adapted. You'll take it out, you'll rearrange it, and then put it back in to the way in which that you understand it, if that makes sense. If you... Edwin, if I was to talk about certificates, we'll be here all night. I don't dispute anybody in the industry. If you want to get yourself some certificates and all the rest of it, you crack on. I've come across, I'll be very honest with you, Edward, I've come across some people who use them certificates in a really bad way. I've seen some of them who use them for the most effective ways possible. Me, I could have gone that route, applied the SNU, was halfway through the book The Lot. but it wasn't my route. It wasn't the route the spirit world wanted me to go down. I'm a great believer in that I do my work for the spirit world, and the only certificate I need is their certificate. If they didn't want to work with me, then they wouldn't work with me. You know, I can't really get into the parameters of you know, this and that and the t'other, because it's a big topic. It's a one that's massively fueled in the industry. It's a one that has everybody's got an opinion on it. Everybody, I don't care who you talk to, everybody's got an opinion on it, whether some agree, some don't agree, some think this, some think that. It's a hot topic. It is a hot topic. For me, I tend to keep out of it. I tend to sort of swizz around it if I can. You know, I can only speak from personal experience. Like I say, I have been in contact with some people who use them certificates in a bad way, and I've seen it firsthand and had it done to me firsthand. I've also seen some people who've used them certificates for all the right reasons. It's not the certificates really, it's the person's ego behind the back of the certificates. They think the ego behind the certificate makes them better than somebody else, or they have the right to say something that's more, they think's more better than what you think. And for me, it's not the certificate that does that, it's the person behind the back of the certificate, and we need to look more at the person and what the person's doing and why. And I tend to find when people are destroying others, when they use the behind the back of these so-called titles and stuff, it's because they aren't really happy with themselves. And that's the question you've really got to ask. How confident is that person? Where is that person sitting in, you know, these types of things? So it's not the certificates as such that makes people do them things, it's the people behind the certificates. The certificates is just, for me personally, I learned a lot when I was applying for broad work. Some places would take us without the certificates, some places took us with them, you know. And I think that's the great beauty about the spirit world, and the great beauty about old-fashioned spiritualism. Old-fashioned spiritualism wasn't built on, you know, somebody else's speaking somebody else's worth. We were built on a connection of we're all worthy, and nobody should have more just because you've got a certificate and just because you haven't. We are all entitled to an opportunity. We're all entitled, as the spirit world believes, to speak for the spirit world in whichever way is best for us, or whichever way, as long as we're proven survival. Yes, that's a must. I'm not without that. But in the same token, we don't have to be giving everybody, them who have all of this, that and the other, more priority than them who don't. Because I've got to be honest with you, Edward, and I'll tell you this now, and I train mediums, and I've been on two residential courses, and I've seen the young lad give the tutor a message from his sister, and it was it was some of the best evidence you could have laid your hand to. Does that make sense? And for me personally, some fledglings, and this is where I say there is no separation between the budding medium and the professional. The only difference is the professionals hone the skill set a little bit more. You can do this. There's nothing wrong with your mediumship. The only person that thinks there's something wrong with their mediumship is you, if that makes sense. You got this in the bag. You know, presentation of mediumship, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to allow for this type of growth of your own mediumship. You've got to learn to grow and adapt of yourself. If you're getting in there all guns blazing, you're gonna come unstuck at some point. You've got to have that stability. You've got to have that understanding of the spirit world. And like Mark asked us about the connection to the energy and stuff like that, and the greatness, that's my tool bag. I've had to learn that over the years. They're the hacks and the things that I've had to pick up in order to make sure that my mediumship is to the best of its ability. Do I still get caught out? Where are you? Of course I do. I would want to get caught out. People's gonna be looking at me going, but why would you want to do that? Because if I'm not getting caught out doing a bad demo, or I'm having a bad night, or I'm having a bad sitting, I'm not learning anything. If I'm constantly getting all these yeses, it's just like, oh wow, look at me. If you're constant, you've got to take the hits for mediumship, and the hits is what will make you grow. People want to give up, and I've been down that road. I know what it's like to want to give up. I know what it's like to want to twist and blame the event, and blame the sitters, and blame this and blame that. And really, it's your ego. You've got to check in with that ego. You've got to ask yourself, instead of blaming, why don't you ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from that bad dem? What can I learn from that sitter? What can I learn from this, that and the other? Because when you start looking at mediumship from a view and point of what can I learn, will you find that you start to move forward a lot quicker? What is it that I can improve here? How can I improve myself? How can I improve my mediumship? What can I do to do this demonstration better next time, or this sitting better next time? You know what I mean? I see a lot. I've got a video coming up on blaming the sitter. And I was talking to a good couple of friends of mine who've been in the business for years. Is this training on that? Yes, it is, Stacey. I've had some good evidence from the spirit world. I've had some great evidence from the spirit world. Yeah. And, you know, we're talking about the sitters, and it is a cop-out for some mediums. They're like, well, it's the sitter's fault, the sitter's this, the sitter's that, it's the venue, they just weren't working with me. Really, what you're really saying is that your mind's not in a good place. You shouldn't really be demonstrating tonight, but if you've got to demonstrate, what can you learn from it? If it's a bad dem, what can I take away from that? What can I do better next time? And that's how you strive in mediumship. That's how you make your mediumship better, and that's how you learn to progress and move forward. So I hope that helps you out there a little bit. Let's have a look at some of your questions. I've got loads going on here. I hope that answers your question anyway, Mark. I probably went off a little bit of a tangent there, but Edward caught my eye there. It's Edward, I could get on for hours about that one, but really it's the person behind the certificate. It's not the certificates themselves. Anyway, I'd love to know more about how to bring through the emotion of the spirit world. Blue feather, listen. Biggest thing that mediums don't do is listen. Listen to the spirit world. You get in the habit of checklists, or they get into a certain way that their mediumship should be. They haven't progressed within the mediumship, so they're not developing the clear range. And these are some of the faults that happen as you get more and more further down the path. And what tends to happen is the medium starts to cut off the spirit world, so they get what I call comfortable. And I have a technique within my training program, one that me and Chief built, about getting them comfortable in the comfortable. Because lots of mediums get comfortable here, or here. And there stops being development of their mediumship, and then it becomes stale. Or they'll be reproducing the same evidence, or they're reproducing the same sort of communicators, loved ones, this type of thing. And what happens is they've stopped listening to the spirit world. Now, Sit in the Power will help you to listen. And really, we have to have good listening skills with the spirit world. We have to be a really good communicator and talker, but we've got to be a good listener as well. And by learning to give that extra couple of minutes, minutes is a long time, so I shouldn't say that. Giving them a couple of extra seconds to sit with this energy. This is what Sit in the Power gets you, see? It gets you understanding of sitting with different energies. And by sitting with different energies, become aware. So it's an awareness one, this one. So my advice to you, Blue Feather, would be to go to the spirit world, and with the intention of awareness of energy and understanding energy of the emotions. And through that, what happens is the guides will start to bring in new guides or new helpers, because we all have helpers over there. Might also get ones, you might get family through, your own family. And what you have to understand is try not to look so much for the imagery. And this is where images need to be knocked off, because you can't get emotions on images. It's got to come in through a feeling awareness. And this will help you to develop the emotion of the communicator. And I have an excellent technique within my class for this one as well. All my techniques are built by the spirit world with me and Chief. I don't use other people's. I'm not into that. My techniques are my own. My classes and my techniques are completely what I built with me and Chief. But this is actually one of mine that I use. This also here helps you to build trust, because you've got to trust in the guides and trust in the spirit world that what they're bringing through is exactly what's being brought through. You've got to learn to understand and to trust them, which a lot of mediums struggle with, massively trust. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there for you, Blue Feather. No problem at all. What's claircognilian? Claircognilian is known. It's an ability to understand that you know something's true even though you don't know where that info is. So you're not getting it from an imagery, you're not getting it from a feeling point of view, you're not getting it from a hearing point of view. It's just you just know that information's right even though you don't know where it's coming from. Blue Feather's asking me, we are made to go direct every time without contacts. How do you feel about mediums being trained this way? So, for me personally, it's a must. Yes, I hear you all screaming at the thing going, how dare you? You spit that bad word. It's a must. Now, lots of people will get on that it's a psychic faculty. I have heard that one in the last few weeks and months. Psychic faculty. So I'll sort of give you the pluses and the negatives, because I like to do that, because as a teacher and a mentor, I have to be able to see it from both sides of the coin. So let me just shift that chair out the way. So for me, I'm a direct medium. And if we want to talk about direct, we're just sort of waiting for this to dry. Direct has to be done. If you're going to do direct mediumship, it's got to be done in a particular way, and this is the way in which that I train. Now, I'm not saying my way is right. I'm just sort of giving you a viewpoint from my particular element. All right? If you're going to train direct, for me personally, you wait for the spirit world. You wait. Whether you get the feeling, whether you see them, whether you hear them. What most direct mediums do is they don't even wait for the spirit world, and they will sort of straight, and this is where I can see where people talk about the psychic ability. I can get that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the way they're coming from in that capacity. Because what tends to happen is if you do without waiting for the spirit world, what you will do is you will just jump out, and if somebody's auric field is full of somebody or a loved one, or they've had a bit of a bad day, your psychic ability is going to pull you straight to them. Now, the spirit world's never going to let a communication fail, and this is where I don't really get throughout mediumship, but we'll get to that in a minute. Spirit world's never going to let a communication fail, so even if this person doesn't have anybody, if they pull into this particular auric field, the spirit world's eventually going to line up, because everybody's communicators are there. So it's going to happen regardlessly, right? And this is where the talk about sometimes wrapping people up in a colour or start talking about the person first will ultimately then lead on, because what happens is the spirit world will then step in and take over the mind, and then it'll become spiritually based, connected to this person. So I can appreciate where that psychic stuff may be coming from. But if you wait for the spirit world, and this is what a lot of mediums don't, they don't wait when they're doing direct mediumship. I wait for the word, I wait for the image, or I wait for the feeling, right? And then I speak. I don't speak until I know I've got the spirit world with me, right? Now, throughout mediumship, I'm not a great lover of it, but I will give this, and I will give it. Throughout mediumship, for me, I don't agree with it keeps the congregation involved. I don't agree with that. Because if you're doing good direct mediumship with good evidence, the congregation will thoroughly enjoy the demonstration, right? What the congregation don't like is sporadic, non-really relevant evidence that is not going to really get anybody involved. They don't really like that. But if direct mediumship and you wait for the spirit world, and even if you do throughout mediumship, and it's throughout mediumship, let me think about this one before I do it. Right. Throughout mediumship for me, right, is an opportunity, again, a bit like this psychic. I've got somebody here, show hands go up. For me, it's a bit of a waste of energy. It's a waste of energy for the spirit world, it's a waste of energy for the medium's mind, because ultimately, what's happening is you're burning loads of energy trying to get this person placed, where really if we use the intelligence, right, if we really want to go down this route, if we're going to go with the intelligence, and we're going to go with this, and we're going to go with that, and I hear that word splashed around all over, intelligence this, intelligence that, if they're intelligent enough to give you the evidence, they're intelligent enough to tell you where they belong, even if it's not the actual person, right? But at least what side of the room you want to be on, that's enough. That's enough. I can hack that. I can hack throughout mediumship, but at least have some direction on what side of the room you want to be on, or at least the top, the middle, or the bottom. Do you know what I mean? You know, you don't have to be direct and go exactly to the person, but at least if you're doing throughout mediumship, at least have the top, the middle, or the bottom in it, and at least, you know, have like that type of style in it, there's a lot of controversy. Throughout mediumship's the new way. Direct's the old way. There's some conflict going on within the industry in regards to this as well. How much of it's psychic, how much of it's mediumistic. Me personally, if you're waiting for the spirit world, the evidence is really good. You're not going to lose your congregation. Throughout mediumship, you can lose your congregation. Also, you've then got the problem of, for anybody who's not as disciplined with throughout mediumship, message grabbers. And the problem with message grabbers is that the same way we're talking about here with the psychic link. Message grabbers, the spirit world's not going to let this fail. So you're always, when you're doing through mediumship, you're always going to have somebody going, well, I can take that, I can take that, I can take that. And it's not even their message. Do you understand? And for the more newer medium, who's not as advanced or not as developed, they're just going to go to that person, oh, well, you can take it right. And because new mediums are quite nervous, they're not quite sure what they're doing, they're going to go for that. Because it's safe. It's safe, of course it's safe. Direct mediumship, you've got to take some risks with direct mediumship, you've got to. And you've got to like sort of put yourself out there. And that can be quite daunting for the newer medium. Whereas this here is a bit, it's safe. It's safe. To me, it's safe mediumship. That's what it is. No matter how much you want to get away from it, it's safe. That's only my viewpoint, and a lot of people will probably not agree with that. I appreciate that. I understand all of that, but I have to give it from my particular perspective. For me, again, if you're gonna do the throughout, right? I'm gonna be honest, because I like to see from both sides, even with my own personal opinion in, right? If you're going to do the throughout, try and at least get the top, the middle, or the bottom of the room, right? That's going to be a lot better for you. Even if you don't know who you want to be with, at least go with that. If you're going to do the direct, make sure you're waiting for the spirit world. Don't just jump on out there. You've got to make sure you've got them with you, alright? That's definitely going to be the best for me personally. So I hope that answers your question. Again, as a teacher, I've got to see it from every perspective. But for me personally, that's how I see it. But, you know, I want you to do your mediumship your way. But I'll always go with direct because I work direct. But if you need to do it the throughout, at least try and tidy it up a little bit. But again, make sure it's done in your way. That's as much as I can give you on that one there, Blue Feather. I hope that helps out. Is the train online? Yes, Stacey, it is. I've had some great evidence from this program. Me too, Life Beyond. Can your tool bag be cluttered and have you had to throw away things? Yep. How do you donate to the channel? Send me an email, Blue Feather. I'll certainly, yes, you can donate to the channel. I would be really grateful. Thank you very much for that. The channel does run on, donations. So if any of you want to donate, by all means, you sure can. I will leave. I'll put everything in the thingy in a minute for your email address. Mark saying, can your tool bag get cluttered? Yeah. You'll outgrow the tool bag, of course. I would want you to outgrow the tool bag, Mark. If you weren't outgrowing the tool bag, Mark, guess what? You're not learning anything. Because the tool bag, so I think I did a video on this the other day. When I first started out, I did a lot of symbols. I think I talked about that. Now I do very little on symbols. So my tool bag has altered and changed over the years. So it's important that your tool bag does keep changing. If it's not changing, Mark, you're not learning now. That would be my answer to that. So you've got to make sure that tool bag is altering. I mean, some of it will stay, some of it will alter. It's entirely up to you as the medium. But yes, I would want that tool bag personally, Mark, to change over the years, or at least be grown upon or altered upon, or at least advanced upon, if that makes sense, or you get a bigger understanding of particular subject matters, or that type of thing. I don't know how you do that, Super Chat man. I'm not Super Chat. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get it right. Where the email account for the PayPal is this. So I'll put this in here for you for the donations. Well, you lot writing some more questions. That's to donate to the channel. That one there. And I'll get you the one for the classes in the courses. So, well, you lots are writing, obviously, whatever you're writing. Hi to everybody, please do share this video around. I'd be really, really grateful to you. Right, there we go. Right. Oh, I nearly lost you there. Don't know what this does. Alright, let's have a look. So the other one is for use. Yes, I know I got it, Angela. Thank you very much for that. This one's for all of the courses. Make sure I've got that right, you know, because I'm terrible, you know. There we go. Ooh. Alright, yeah. There you go. Right, so the DS is for donations for those who are looking to, does that come up? And then the other one there is for connections to online classes or the Australian stuff or whatever it is that you want to, if you activate, I don't know, how do you activate Super Chat like Marcus? How do you do that? Can that happen? I don't know how that happens. I don't know, how does that happen? I don't know how that happens. I don't know. I might not have enough view time or something, enough subscribers or something, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just thought go with the flow. And YouTube like notifies and stuff, and I'm like, alright, okay then. Because to be fair, YouTube was never really, it was just a platform for me to be able to help people and to obviously move things forward within the business sense. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about that. But yeah, any other questions from anybody? Anybody else want to talk to me about these things? I've got a sweater on. Them radiators must be on. They are. The chair must have the radiators on. Let's have a look. Have I missed anybody? Have I missed anybody's questions or classes or out like that? Hi to Nicola. Hope you're well, my darling. I have no idea how to do that. The fam does it on his. Oh, I don't know. It'll probably be, I think, Marcus, that super chat now, that's for like people who's got like 100,000 subscribers and, you know, that kind of malarkey, you know what I mean? I've seen a couple of them across YouTube and stuff with them. I think that must be what it is. I'm not that techy and I'm not that advanced yet. I'm not that far along the path, like, I've got to be honest. It'll come probably one day. I'm in no rush, you know what I mean? I'm sure it'll come. Yes, I have shared for you. Well, thank you very much for all those who are sharing. Any other questions from you lot here on the channel? It has been very good. I'm grateful to you all for joining me this evening, like I am. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you all, like, I've got to be honest. I'm going to get some of this kitchen up. I've had a terrible cold. Put that there. Just my apologies here for my notes. There we go. That's better. There we go. So is everybody done and finished and happy? Yep. Any other questions? I guess they're not then. Hope you... Yeah, Devon start saying that, Marcus. I don't know what's going to happen, you know, like, because obviously with that outbreak and that Australia and stuff like that, they've been dead like monetarian and stuff with the flights and this type of thing. I've learned loads just listening. It's been a pleasure. Well, thank you very much for joining me. For those who want to donate, it's ds47665@gmail.com. I look forward to it if you donate, and thank you. For anybody who's interested in the classes and courses, the email account is there, or it will be in the description box below. It's been an absolute pleasure, my folkies. I will be back on Monday with another live Q&A, so certainly check us out for that one there as well. Please do invite your friends to the YouTube channel, share with friends if anybody thinks they may be interested in it. I'm off on my tea. And it'll be an absolute pleasure to have you all with me here. I hope you have been informative, hope you have learned some things, and hopefully I'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend. If I don't speak to you before, new video goes up tomorrow. I think you'll enjoy it. Watch out for the funny one coming in. Brilliant info, that makes sense. No problem, Edward. I look forward to seeing you. Edward, you need to get in touch with me via the email as well. I need to talk to you. And thank you very much, all of you, for being with me. It's been a great evening. I'll see you all on Monday. Bye for now.